your president, did he vote for the war in Iraq?
No, he did not.
How many others did not vote for the war? Now watch this.
A lot of them.
When did Congress ever declare war on Iraq?
Never.
No.
When did Congress ever declare war on Afghanistan?
No.
Never.
But yet, those are two theaters of war where Americans have died, billions of dollars have gone. Why? Because the purpose was never to squash anything. The purpose was to...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, the one person comes in is because Congress, by law, is supposed to have the authority to declare war, and they never did. They never did. They got on television, which is a part of
This state, that's right.
this, and they gave their opinions, but they never voted to declare war. Because part of the global program is to subdue, not occupy. Once you subdue them, the education,
Yes, sir.
you see, I'm going to get you in just a second.
Train the culture.
The indoctrination would do the work, but you got to wipe out
That's right.
a generation of people. Put this word in your notes, eugenics. And my brain is reeling right now. Let's go back to the one leader, and then we'll come to you, sister, okay? Is that all right? Now, if Congress never declared war, why are we over there? The reason why Congress never declared war is because you didn't have enough congressmen with the guts to say no. Plain and simple. If you have a constitutional right to do something, people have the nerve to say, well, black folks don't vote. They shouldn't have the right. Well, Congress had the right to say go to war, and they did nothing.
They didn't do it.
They didn't vote. They avoided the issue altogether. And watch this now. They did what the book of Revelation said would happen. They began to surrender their power to one person.
Yeah, sure did. That's the back on Bush.
See? The tendency, the natural tendency to take the responsibility that you do have and turn it over to someone else because you don't feel fit enough for you to be in control of your own life. You have to have somebody else to make decisions for you. I don't know if you know, there's an author, his name is Dostoevsky. He wrote a very interesting piece called The Grand Inquisitor. It's very thin. You need to get it. And when he does a breakdown of Jesus's temptation on the mountain with Lucifer, when he's out fasting and so forth. But those three areas where Lucifer tempts Christ are the three areas where Western society is going to tempt mankind. And in all three areas, the hook is to get man to think that he's incapable of doing those things that God by nature has vested him with the ability to do. That's the state. You see? The three areas of temptation, 1, 2, 3, are in those areas where God has given man the ability to do for himself. And in this Western culture, the tendency is for the state to take over responsibility. Think about it. Who polices your neighborhoods? Do you? Who educates your children? Do you? When a child leaves the home, he becomes a ward of the what?
State.
The state.
Yeah.
When a man is incarcerated, he becomes the ward of the what?
State.
The state ends up becoming the parent. And that person ends up becoming a subject of the state. There are no what? Traditions? What happens to the parents?
Yeah.
The family all of a sudden becomes dysfunctional, and so goes the tribe.
Yeah. It's abolished.
So the onslaught of this has ultimately been to undo our family system that the scriptures established, that the Most High established. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
That's exactly what they have done to Haiti.
So they've done that everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
They've done it everywhere. And so what happens is that the program takes on many different forms. Are y'all all right? Am I talking too much?
Oh, no.
It takes on many different forms. Okay? I want you to put in your notes the Rhinelander case. And I want you to put in your notes the word hypodescence. Hypodescence. Hypodescence is what I call the Halle Berry test or the one drop test. If you have one drop of black blood in you, guess what you are?
Right.
I don't care what you want to identify. I don't care if they invite you to the family reunion. I don't care if they put you in the will. It doesn't matter if you got one drop of black blood in you. Now, I didn't create that. Okay? But the legal definition of a Negro after the Civil War, okay, the legal definition after the Civil War got more stringent as you moved toward Jim Crow. Which means the further and further you move toward this period we call Jim Crow in society, time-wise, the less amount of blood was necessary for you to be classified as a Negro. You see? Y'all understand? If you don't, I'll go back. Okay. As you move from slavery to the Jim Crow time period, which began probably around 1880. Okay? From 1865 to 1880, the further you move from 1865 to 1880, the less amount of blood was needed for you to be classified as a Negro. Which means something was about to happen because the pool of people who would ultimately be disfranchised began to swell. And the minority group of people began to shrink. That's why the whole idea of minority, majority is a wash. It's not true. Because there are far more people who are disqualified from being a part of this society than actually who are qualified. And so you can always find, and I have friends that are white, I look at them, I say, man, you a brother. They'll get upset, they'll get but when you look at their features, I mean, it look like, look like me. And when you go to some of these towns that were founded by this person and that person, in the courthouse, they had the pictures of the founders of the town. Look at them real hard. That's your cousin TJ up there. They might not look like it, but look harder. And my mama said, the hair don't lie. Check that hair out, baby. Yeah. But I wanted you to put the Rhinelander case in your notes because when you're talking and discussing with people, you have to bring up historical stuff. You can't talk off the cuff. Well, the Rhinelander case had to do with a white man who wanted to get out of a marriage that he had, and his claim was that the woman that he married was a Negro. Now, it was not illegal at the time because this was up north for a black man and a white woman to marry. But the case was, he was going to say that the marriage should have been annulled because he didn't know she was a Negro. And so that is where you get the hypodescent and the various hypodescent tests. And this was some crazy tests. Do you want to hear one of them? What they made this man